one of my questions is, how do I work with that attraction set, the wishes, the desires that I had put out?
But what we would say,
that arrived, that are like still out there as things I'd like to have.
We would say, this is where we began here today. Are you exhilarated over your unfulfilled desires? And the answer to that we want from you is, oh yes, we just love those unfulfilled desires, because we love that there's this new desire that is freshly, that's a good word, freshly pulsing within you. We love that because we know that when a desire is pulsing within you, that the universe is just knocking itself out to provide circumstances and events and rendezvous points for the fulfillment of that. So from our perspective, the perfect relationship for you is not in question. It is a sure thing. The timing of it is a variable, but the ifness of it is not in question. It will be, it has been, it is becoming, it is yours. So if you can know that it is coming and now reach for relief in order to speed the time in the interim, now you're on track. If you don't believe it's coming, then discouragement would be an easier track to fall on.
Yeah, I think right now I'm feeling largely discouraged right now.
Well, that's logical because it's happened so recently. But you told us, and we believe it, and we reflected it back to you. We think you can choose. It's so close, we think you can choose whether it's a hopeful thought or a discouraging thought. And we can understand why you might beat the drum of the discouraging thought in order to justify where you are, because you don't like being where you are. Mm-hmm. You don't like feeling this way, and you don't like others seeing you that way. And it does sort of feel like you need to explain. And you would sort of like to beat up on the other one, because it feels like if the other one had chosen differently, you would feel better. And so there is some of that. But we don't feel you down in these registers of deep discouragement. We feel you more in this place of being able to make a choice. And if we were standing in your shoes, we would just start speaking as optimistically as we can. So now, if you don't mind, for the benefit of all of us who are listening in, make an effort to do that and see if we're right. In other words, it doesn't matter if we're right or not, because where you are is where you are, and where you are is just fine. But make an effort to get into a really good feeling place fast, and if you can't do it, that's fine. We'll start someplace else. But make the effort and see if it blows you out of the ballpark. In other words, if it spins you right off into the bushes, or whether you have a chance of doing it. Just make the effort. I appreciate this relationship because it has awakened within me for the first time, really, feelings that are so deep and so fabulous that I now know the potential for love, and I love that. Can you go there easily?
No, not in this moment.
Too strong then. So start over here. I found something that was really wonderful, and the other one was not smart enough to see it. Did that give you relief?
No, not really.
Feel that? Any relief there?
I mean, the laughter felt great, but no.
All right, then let's move over. Then I found something that was wonderful, and somehow I blew it. And this is an old pattern that I'm not happy about. Did we settle in on anything yet?
That feels better. I mean, that feels more right than I'm...
So that's sort of where you are. So now you know where you are. Now try to make yourself feel better. And friends, we have to tell you, you have to try to make yourself feel better. Stop asking other people to do things that make you feel better. Stop asking your government. Stop asking the economy. Stop asking your lover. Stop asking other people who are equally selfishly motivated. It's their job to please them. Stop asking them to make you feel better. Do the work. Can you feel? You've got to do the work. You got to... Now, it's not really fair that we come to that with you here, because there have been a lot of the others were much worse. But timing is everything, isn't it? So here you are. Do the work. Make yourself feel better. You can do it.
I feel like I'm more open, and I've received a lot. That makes me more hopeful. If I can continue to be more open. That
not much moving. That's sort of where we tried to get you to go, and you couldn't go there. So, but keep trying. It's all right. You'll feel it when it moves a little. Remember, what you're reaching for is relief. Relief means releasing resistance. Do you get that? Relief means releasing resistance. And every time you release a little resistance, you're allowing more of what you want. And if you keep it up, you've got to be out there in the bright sunshine where all good things are. In other words, you can get there from anywhere, and you can certainly get there from where you are.
It can happen to me.
Yes? It did happen.
It can happen, and it can last, because that's where I feel like the real pain is that in the not lasting.
All right, so it can happen sort of took you this way, but when you said it can last, you sort of went that way. But that's all right. Keep after it. I'm always in motion.
Yeah, I'm in motion.
My point of attraction is still in place. The world is full of people that match up with me. I love becoming who I am in readiness for the meeting. Maybe I met up with someone before I was ready, or maybe I met up with them before they were ready, but it wasn't a perfect match, but it doesn't mean the meeting up is not working. I have the ability to meet up, and I trust law of attraction. And I'm feeling better and better. And I really would rather feel good before I match up than not feel so good. And I sort of can feel that when I matched up last time, I must not have felt as good as I want to feel. And so now I'm working on it a little more. And this was the last person on the planet?
No.
There are many others?
There are many others.
And I'm clearer now than I've ever been, and I am a whole lot more determined than I've ever been.
I'm more determined than I've ever been.
Oh, now you felt that, didn't you?
That feels good. Yeah.
And so that determined feeling, that was a relief. Did you feel the relief that you found with that? Mm-hmm. You just shed a whole big wad of resistance with that. Mm-hmm. I am more determined. Now, that might be enough movement for one exercise, but we can go further if you want to. Do you want to?
Yes.
So now take your feeling of relief of being determined and now move to a feeling that feels even better than that.
I know I can have it.
A little bit too big of a jump, but not a bad try.
It can be part of my life.
I usually get what I want once I figure it out.
I usually get what I want when I figure it out.
And I think I figured this out. I figured out, I feel clearer about this than I've ever felt in my life. Now, what we're doing is beating the drum of determination. And now you can go into the soft, gentle, soothing places of I trust law of attraction, and things work for me. And I always get what I want, or usually get what I want. And when I really want it, it always happens. When I sort of want it, I muck around and dabble in it. But when I've decided, things always come into place. And for the first time in my life, I've decided about this. In other words, now it's starting to move into a feeling that we would describe as hopeful, would you?
Yes.
It really does feel hopeful. In other words, we don't feel discouragement anymore. We feel determination that's moved into hopefulness. And so as you are hoping, now that may be far enough for you now. You want to go further? You can if you want to.
Yes.
So talk to us from this hopeful place.
I feel more hopeful. That feels good.
Yes. Put some more words around it. Shore it up with life experience. Make us believe that you are hopeful.
The universe just astonishes me with delivering what I need.
Yes. And how do you feel about that? Aren't you bowled over? Don't you love it? Don't you appreciate the universe's constant reflection of where you are? Would you say that you've moved from hopeful into appreciation, or are we stretching it too far?
Well, in terms of relationship, I don't know that I'm there.
Is there anything about the relationship that you did appreciate? Now be gentle here and see if appreciation on the subject of relationship moves you this way rather than this way. In other words, think about it. I love feeling like this. I feel more alive. I love that awakening in me. I'm so appreciative that that aspect of me is alive in this powerful way. You are, aren't you? In other words, you've come so far, so fast here. Appreciation is about as good as it gets. In other words, just sort of percolate along in this appreciation, and when you feel yourself slipping from it, you'll get back easily there and watch what happens. It would not surprise us to see even the same relationship reconstitute itself.
So is this all I need to do?
That's it. We wish it were more. We wish it were more. Because you see, and the reason that that's it is because your exposure to the experiences where all the work was, that sifting through that processes and feeling all of those emotions and launching all those rockets of desire, that's where all the work was. And then the universe answers all of that. That's taken care of. And so this releasing of resistance, which is step 3, is all that is necessary. And that's what you just did. You released a truckload of resistance.
Now, I launched those rockets before, and I feel like he was such a good match at that.
Yes.
I sort of don't know what to do with those rockets. The last time I was in relationship, I really shut down. So I don't want to shut down this time.
Stop for a moment.
Okay.
Stop, and ask yourself, what am I doing here?
Okay.
Which drum am I making it worse or am I making it better? You're making it worse. Everybody knows. Okay. And there's a sort of, but I need to probe. I need to understand. I need more clarification because it can't be that simple, Abraham. But it really is. In other words, just be aware of which drum you're beating and beat the one that feels the best. I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to make the best of it. I'm going to make the best of it. You're good at it.
Okay, I just feel like I better make sure I get this right. So you're not suggesting that I ever change the subject here? Meaning,
well, you can if it's
so. I really have to sit with the resistance.
You can change the subject, and if it were something that you could change the subject and never revisit it, we would have been the first one to get you to change the subject. But this is something you really want. It's something you've wanted for a long time. You might as well just clean it up.
Yes.
And this person who came to help you clean it up.
Yes. Okay. So I just take my baby
on
steps.
On the way. So you're in Yuma.
So I'm in.
You're in Yuma, and there's no point in going back to Phoenix when you really want to go to San Diego. So don't have a meltdown because you're in Yuma. Keep your eye on San Diego.
Okay, I feel good about this. One more little thing.
She does, doesn't she?
Yeah.
We're proud of you, aren't we? Proud of you? Now, don't wave that off because it's important that you, all of you, that you feel your appreciation for your improved emotion because that's the work. In other words, you got to feel better, and you can't let the fact that the relationship hasn't manifested distract you or detract you, and you can't let somebody else's idea of how you should be feeling dissuade you. In other words, you've got to feel good about your improved emotion or you're lost in this because there are thousands of other people pointing you in thousands of different directions that will make you nuts. Yes.
All right, so like a little while ago I was feeling positive, and then it was like a thought sneaked in, and the words were I want to be in a relationship. And good, it didn't happen so much, but it felt like my vibration just sank, and I was like, whoa.
Well, that may happen. In other words, as we said, so you started with a set point and you moved it over here, and then we stayed there until it was really solid, and then you moved it over here.
Right.
So it might not stay here. It might move back to over here, but it won't move back to over here.
Right. And when a new thought comes in that is negative,
just readdress it. So just readdress it. Just readdress it.
Okay.
Just soften it until you have bridged them all into a better place.
Okay. I think this is the last one. So, like, right now, well, let's see if it is really here right now. Yeah, it's sort of like my...
Now, stop for just a moment. Hold your thought. We want to say to all of you, if you're feeling impatience about what's taking place here, that's fine. You can feel however you want to feel. But we want you to pay attention to what's happening here because this is the work. In other words, if you pretend you feel different than you do, you can't even get on the map. When you acknowledge how you feel, then you can start making your progress. And you can't care, and we love that so many of you have been able to sit here and disregard the impatience of people who want to get in the chair while we grind through this. But this is the work. In other words, I'm going to make myself feel better if it kills me. Because feeling better and finding relief is the releasing of resistance, which is the only thing that has ever kept me from anything that I want.